How to stop receiving breadcrumbs from your specific person. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to my channel. This is Priya, your manifestation coach. And in this video, I'm going to break down how to stop receiving breadcrumbs from your SP. But first, if you are somebody who would like some accountability, some inspiration, and you really want to stay on top of your game and stay consistent when it comes to manifesting anything that your heart desires, I offer monthly membership coaching. This is where you will get live coaching with me every single week, and you can have your questions answered by me in real time. You can get access to this by clicking the link below in the description box. I also offer an online course, Manifest Your SP Mastery, that you can get instant access to by also clicking the link below in the description box. And finally, I also offer one-on-one coaching to help you manifest anything you desire. You can get access to this by also clicking the link below in the description box. Okay, let's get back to this video. How to stop accepting breadcrumbs from your specific person. So, this is something that a lot of people struggle with, where their specific person isn't treating them well. Let's take an example here. Let's say maybe, your specific person is a narcissist, okay? But you're still accepting that, in your reality, you're still engaging with that. And maybe sometimes they're really loving to you, but the majority of the times they're like a narcissist, okay? This is what is meant by accepting breadcrumbs. Now, first, it's important to understand, why do we accept breadcrumbs? Why do we accept being treated like shit? It always comes down to having a low self-concept, okay? So your self-concept is how you see yourself in general when it comes to love and relationships. So people that accept breadcrumbs, will have a self-concept such as, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, etc., etc. I'm not pretty enough, smart enough, or whatever it is. So when you have a low self-concept, you will naturally accept things that you don't want because you don't value yourself, because you don't know your worth and value. And that's why people accept breadcrumbs. And it's important to understand this. Why do you accept breadcrumbs? Why do you do this to yourself? Well, because you don't yet know your worth and value. Somebody who knows their worth and value wouldn't accept that, okay? They would have a boundary. They just wouldn't accept it. They wouldn't engage in it. They wouldn't be part of it. Now, that's not to say that we want to blame your SP and be they're a narcissist, okay? Because you can easily change a narcissist because you understand that everybody is you pushed out, right? Meaning your SP is always reflecting to you your dominant thought patterns, assumptions, and beliefs. Now, I do want to point out that the reflection is not always one-on-one, right? Because sometimes people will be like, well, my SP is like a narcissist, but does this mean that I'm a narcissist? No, it doesn't mean that you're a narcissist. What it means is that you have a story within you that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy. And the way that that's manifesting in your reality, or the way that that's reflected back to you, could be that you manifest a narcissist, or you manifest somebody that's hot and cold, or they're constantly disrespecting you, okay? So the reason why that is, though, is because of the low self-concept. Your subconscious mind always has to prove to you that this is the way that you think and feel about yourself, that this is assumption that you have about yourself. Now, the expression in which this manifests into your reality could happen in infinite ways. It could be through a narcissist. Could be that, you manifest somebody that's hot and cold, or that you manifest somebody that's a player, for example, okay? Again, though, that's all the result of you having a low self-concept. But again, I want to point out the reflection isn't one-on-one. It's not, oh, that must mean I'm a narcissist because I attracted a narcissist, or I'm a player because I attracted a player. No, it's what stories do I have within me, right, that is causing you to treat me this way. That's the way that you want to think about it, okay? So the only reason why a lot of people accept breadcrumbs is because they have a low self-concept. So the idea is you want to change this, right? You want to focus on really increasing your self-concept, where you know your value and your worth, where you know that you are lovable, good enough, and worthy exactly the way that you are, where you know that you are perfect, that you don't need fixing. And so the way to do this is through affirmations, okay? You want to literally change your assumptions, change your beliefs about yourself, change the way that you see yourself. And affirmations are the fastest way to do this from my experience. Remember that affirmations are just the thoughts that you are thinking. So every time you are thinking a thought, you are affirming. On average, we are thinking at least 70,000 thoughts a day, which means that you are affirming at least 70,000 times a day. And so the question is, what are you affirming? So you want to begin to affirm that you are, worthy, prioritized, always chosen, lovable. You want to begin to affirm those things. You want to begin to see yourself that way. And when you saturate your subconscious mind with this new story so that this new story becomes dominant within you, dominant meaning you're telling the new story more than you're telling the old story being I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, blah, blah, blah. Okay. When you're telling the new story more than you're telling the old story, your subconscious mind has to produce proof of this to you in your 3D reality. This is when you'll manifest the version of your specific person that you desire. It begins with you first knowing your value and your worth. Now, it's not just about increasing your self-concept so that you know your value and your worth. You also have to change your stories around your specific person, right? Because you can have a really high self-concept, but then have really shitty assumptions about your specific person, right? Because you could be like, oh, I'm so lovable, I'm a queen, all the things, like I'm worthy, but except by my specific person. Like my specific person doesn't love me. Why is it that he doesn't love me, although I'm such a queen, right? So you definitely want to focus like on both. One, increasing your self-concept, and number two, changing your stories about your specific person. However, for the purpose of this video, it's all about how to stop accepting breadcrumbs from your specific person. So the way that you do this is you honestly want to focus on your self-concept, okay? So if you're in a situation in the 3D where you are being treated like shit, the idea is that, people will stay in blame. Well, he's treating me like shit. It's his fault. It's his fault. And the idea is they're just reflecting you. Okay, that's the truth. Now, this doesn't mean that you're to blame or that you blame yourself or that you shame yourself or condemn yourself. No, that's not what I mean, okay, at all. If anything, you just want to acknowledge and accept and make peace with what is showing up in your 3D reality from the understanding that, oh, well, my shitty thoughts created this. Again, not from a place of like blaming or shaming yourself, from a place of awareness, okay, from a place of neutrality. Okay, my old shitty thoughts is why this person is treating me this way. Okay, from there, you can then take your power back. Because if you're in blame, then you can never take your power back. You're still being a victim, etc., etc. And there's no judgment on that, but you do want to shift out of it. So once you take your power back, then you want to really focus on changing your assumptions, your beliefs, and your dominant stories. Focus on increasing your self-concept. And this is all to do with the way that what you're thinking in here, okay? This is now when you go hardcore in with changing the way that you see yourself. You focus on affirmations to do with your self-concept. You focus on affirmations to do with your SP that imply your end. So you begin to think as if you're the version of you that has your SP. And so as your self-concept begins to increase, you will naturally find that you will not tolerate anything less because you know your value and your worth, okay? And it could also mean as well, and it's different for different people, right? So if you're being treated like shit and your self-concept goes up, you'll simply, one way in which somebody could deal with that is they're not going to accept this type of behavior. So they might go like no contact with that person, with their SP, because they're like, I'm not going to engage with this. And then, the SP comes back like fully conformed, like a couple of weeks later or something, okay? That's one way. Another way is that you could have a really high self-concept and your SP, hasn't fully conformed. So sometimes they're being nice, sometimes they're being shitty, but you're able to ignore what they're doing that doesn't align for you or that doesn't resonate for you because you're so solid in yourself where you just keep changing the story in your mind, okay? I've actually done both. But the idea is the second one, where somebody could still be maybe not treating you well, but in your mind, you know that you're the operant power and you're God of your reality. So you're not even triggered by it. You just completely revise it on the spot and change it on the spot. Okay, and that kind of tends to come with practice. It doesn't have to, that could be, I don't want to put that as a limiting belief. It's something that you could adopt right now and practice right now. But, I did want to shine light on a whole spectrum of things. It doesn't have to look one way, right? Where it's just, oh yeah, I have such a high self-concept that fuck SP, he's not going to be in my reality. That could be one thing, absolutely. And it's going to be different for everybody. Or it could be that actually you're just laughing at the way that they're showing up because in your mind, you know that I'm getting this and I'm revising it right now. Okay. So there's different ways in which this could unfold and it's going to be different for everybody. What I will say is if you're in a place where you are being abused, obviously do not stay in that situation. Remove yourself from that situation. And if you're in a place where you just keep getting triggered heavily by this person, you really want to be focused on you and putting yourself first, right? You want to identify why. The only reason why I keep feeling triggered and I'm feeling so shit right now when my SP is treating me like shit, is because you have a low self-concept, right? And you need to probably withdraw yourself from that situation so that you can build yourself up again and increase your self-concept. And I'm talking about if this is like a pattern that's been going on like for years. I'm not talking about if you're in a relationship and you're triggered, where that person is 90% of the time like loving to you, right? That's like a bit different, where you might just be triggered about something where you're feeling a little bit insecure or whatever. Well, then that's up to you to go within and to change your story about yourself and about your specific person. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. To recap, the only reason why people accept breadcrumbs is because they have a low self-concept. And if that is you, then you really want to take a step back and you want to take your power back. And the only way that you can do that is by first acknowledging, really, okay, I have a low self-concept. That's why I'm tolerating this bad behavior or this hot and cold behavior or this narcissist in my reality. Again, not from a place of like blaming or shaming or condemning yourself, just from a place of making peace with what is, from the knowingness that you're going to do the inner work to shift it. And the reason why it's important to actually go within and change it is because even if, say, you walked away from this narcissist, if you haven't changed your stories about you, if you haven't increased your self-concept, you are going to manifest exactly the same thing from a different person. It's going to be different face, but same shit. So it is really important here to actually acknowledge what is going on, see it for what it really is, and be like, okay, I have a low self-concept, but I'm going to change that. I'm telling you, this work doesn't take a lot of time. The minute you really go all in and really increase your self-concept, where you know your value and your worth, your reality will shift very, very quickly. This work doesn't take time. It just takes some discipline and some focus. That's it. All you have to do is just focus. Think as if you're the version of you that really knows your value and your worth through affirmations. Like, I'm always prioritized, I'm always chosen, I'm always loved, I'm always worthy. And then have affirmations to do with your specific person that imply your end. Saturate your subconscious mind with that. Focus, be disciplined. At the end of the day, you're becoming the version of you that has your specific person. And then your subconscious mind has to produce proof of this to you in your 3D reality. And the reason why the SP journey is beautiful is because really it's just a journey back to self-love, right? Because you're changing you when you're changing your stories, right? And when you change you, you align with a different version of them, because there's infinite versions of your specific person that exist. There are infinite parallel realities, and you just align with a different version of them through changing you, right? Where you're freeing yourself from this pattern. Because if at the end of the day, if you don't change that pattern within you that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, you will continue to attract the same thing from somebody different. So, you want to do this work for you ultimately, like to free yourself. And of course, you want to feel good about yourself and know that you are worthy and valuable and you're perfect exactly the way that you are for yourself. You want to feel good about yourself for you. So, yeah, that's really it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. Have a beautiful day or a wonderful evening. Mwah.